Now at 10, a resignation rally cry finally answered.
Columbia Heights School Board member Grant Nichols says he will resign tomorrow. I'll have more on his decision coming up next.
Plus, the new number that shows just how dangerous and deadly our roads really are.
And a Minnesota man wins over the judges on The Voice.
I worked hard and I practiced and I didn't let anybody stand in my way.
Tonight, he shares his unique perspective on life.
My name is Blind Joe. You guys have been excellent today. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us tonight. A Columbia Heights School Board member is set to resign tomorrow, nearly a month after a post from his Facebook account sparked an uproar.
Grant Nichols originally refused to step down. Bua Zhang is live to explain how public pressure led to his decision. Bua?
Hi, Julie and Randy. A spokesperson for the school district told me that the superintendent met with Grant Nichols this morning. However, they're not commenting beyond that because his resignation is not official quite yet. Grant Nichols will make it official tomorrow. We expect to hear from him before the school board meeting. We also expect Muslim leaders from the community to speak with him as well, but he told me that this decision was his and his alone.
3 weeks ago, when Grant Nichols sat down with me for his only one-on-one television interview, he admitted he had moments of defeat.
Was there ever a point when you thought, I should resign?
Yeah, many times.
But he insisted he wanted to stay in the Columbia Heights School Board and work with the Muslim community to move forward. Now the school district will move forward without Nichols. After meeting with Muslim leaders on Friday, Nichols said he will resign at Tuesday's board meeting. He didn't want to go on camera, but said he stands by his story that a coworker took his phone and posted an anti-Muslim comment using his Facebook account. On Monday, Nichols was back on Facebook. He wrote, "I will take responsibility over the situation to end this turmoil. So on top of showing my side of the story, I am still resigning. Too much hate spilled on both sides, and it needs to stop." The Facebook post prompted student walkouts and filled board meetings with community members who wanted his resignation. The Council on American Islamic Relations was among them. Today, they applauded his decision, saying, now is the time for the community to come together to heal and to promote an environment leading to educational success and achievement. The Teachers Union president told KARE 11, "I think people are excited to put this behind us and move forward without distractions." Nichols says he's ready to put this behind him, too.
And there is already one vacancy on the school board with seven candidates, who are vying for that seat. Nichols' resignation would mean now there are 2 open seats. And I spoke with the school board, the superintendent, about what would happen with his resignation. They tell me that it might call for a special election, but they'll have to look into that, and they should have answers tomorrow. Randy and Julie.
All right. Thank you, Bua.
Well, Governor Mark Dayton will visit St. Cloud tomorrow as that city continues to address its own cases of racial tension. The governor will join the NAACP to discuss intimidation against Somalis and other minority groups living in central Minnesota. The move follows the Department of Education review of how Somali students are treated in St. Cloud public schools after several protests this past spring. Congressman Tom Emmer, the St. Cloud School District, and the police department will also be in attendance. Well, heading outside, whipping winds left many of us looking for shelter today as some Minnesota property owners dealt with damage.
And colder temperatures accompanied those gusts, but change is coming. Belle's here with a first look at our forecast. Hey, Belle.
That's right. We're going to change back to some sunshine and temperatures near 60. But for today, what a huge change up in the atmosphere. Someone flipped a switch last night about 10 o'clock and this low pressure center moved in. Now it is departing. That very tight gradient created those very strong winds at times. In fact, for hours, gusting over 40 miles per hour in many Minnesota cities. Here are some of the top numbers from Alexandria at 55 miles an hour, 54 at Redwood Falls, New Ulm, and St. Cloud, both at 45 miles per hour in the city. We had wind gusts right around 45 as well. The current wind gust is at 29 here. 33 in Bemidji and 23 in Wilmer, so still gusting in many locations. This is the forecast for the rest of your evening. Here, as you watch the clock, we go past 10 o'clock, and you can see that it is pretty much right where the actual forecast is. And then as we move through the morning hours, it does die down, but it's still breezy tomorrow, and the sun will be out. We expect 60 degrees, which is exactly where we should be. We'll have details of the rest of the week into the weekend coming up in a couple of minutes.
All right. Thank you, Belle. Well, investigators say they do not believe a Minneapolis mother was home when a fire started earlier this month, killing her 3 children. A search warrant reveals the fire investigator who interviewed Tanisha Stewart on the scene said she showed no signs of having been inside the Penn Avenue home at the time. No soot, no smell of smoke, or signs she had inhaled smoke. The investigator said she did not need medical attention and smelled of alcohol. Authorities add that the lack of an adult presence was a factor in the children's deaths.
We feel badly for everyone involved. We're just trying to establish what happened and why.
Police requested Stewart's cell phone records to determine where she was when the fire started. The family's spokesperson, Pastor Harding Smith, said they will respond after the funeral, which is this Saturday.
We are learning carbon monoxide poisoning may be what killed an 8-year-old girl on Lake Minnetonka last night. In a letter to parents, the Concord Elementary School principal says the girl was a second grader. Emergency crews found the girl at the dock near Cove Restaurant in Wayzata last night. She was taken to HCMC where she passed away. After a deadly weekend on Minnesota roads, the traffic death toll has reached a disturbing new high. There are now 304 reported fatalities in 2015 alone. Minnesota did not reach the 300 fatality mark in 2014 until November 8th. Public safety officials are calling it a milestone of heartache and loss. Even with the increase, the overall number of deaths on Minnesota roads continues to trend downward.
An assistant coach with the Minnesota Wild will serve jail time for drinking and driving. Daryl Sador pled guilty today to DWI. He will now pay a fine and serve 60 days in jail over 4 years. If he complies with probation, the future jail time could be waived. Police say Sador had a blood alcohol level nearly 4 times over the legal limit when he became lost while trying to drive his son to a hockey game.
Another Minnesota politician is weighing in on the Democratic race for president. Unlike the heavy-hitting support for Hillary Clinton, Congressman Keith Ellison is endorsing her closest rival. The announcement comes on the eve of the first Democratic debate. Carla Holt joins us with the state of the campaign. Carla?
Randy, Hillary Clinton has already racked up some big-name endorsements here, both the Minnesota senators, former Vice President Mondale, and Governor Dayton. But today, Bernie Sanders picked up a name of his own, proving there is a long road to November 2016.
Hours before the first big debate, one Democrat scored a Minnesota win.
Big news.
This one in the form of an endorsement from Congressman Keith Ellison.
It would be surprising if Keith Ellison did not endorse Bernie Sanders.
The director of advocacy and political leadership at Metro State, Y. Spano, says it's clear Ellison and his district lean left enough to go with Bernie Sanders. But Spano stopped short of seeing Sanders go the distance.
When all is said and done, it's probably not going to be Bernie Sanders. I mean, that's the truth. But he's doing something really, really important.
And that, Spano says, is changing the conversation among Democrats.
They want what Bernie Sanders is giving him, and that's a push to the left.
I think the endorsement by Ellison is a sign of the times and a confirmation that Bernie Sanders is for real.
Larry Jacobs with the U of M's Humphrey School of Public Affairs agrees Bernie has just begun.
Maybe April or so before we know who's going to be the Democratic nominee.
A long road with one of the first milestones tomorrow night. And as for that debate, Jacobs and Spano say you can expect substance over sparks.
It'll be very substantive, more so than what we've seen on the Republican side, where you see more of the kind of personalities shining through.
Nobody's going to call anybody a fat pig or, you know, I mean, it's just so different when you're talking about that kind of stuff.
We'll see. You never know. But you may ask, what about Biden? Both analysts say if the vice president decides to run, it drastically changes the race. Spano offers 2 predictions. 1, if Biden runs, he's the nominee. And 2, Minnesota will once again go blue come November 2016, regardless of who the nominee is. Randy?
All right. Thank you, Carla. Minnesota health insurance provider UCare is reducing a quarter of its workforce. UCare says the layoffs come after the state decided to drop them from Minnesota KARE and prepaid medical assistance programs next year. UCare says about 100 jobs will go unfilled and 45 employees took voluntary buyouts, but another 200 workers will face layoffs.
This is MEA week, and that means kids are out of school for a long weekend and lots of families are traveling. This might surprise you, but airport officials say this is their busiest week of the year. Even busier than Thanksgiving and Christmas, they say, because business travelers are flying right alongside families taking vacation. Normally, the airport sees about 100,000 travelers a day. This week, though, there will be about 120,000. Families choose the week for vacation since most schools have at least Thursday and Friday off.
And over probably the last 10 years, my experience is that MEA, travel during MEA, for families in particular, has really escalated.
Today's long lines at TSA checkpoints had airport officials reminding all travelers to arrive at least 90 minutes early or risk missing your flight. Refinery maintenance, outages, and a reduced fuel output are to blame for the 16-cent increase in the price of gas in the Twin Cities over the past week. In fact, Minnesota is among 5 states that led the nation with the largest price increases. But analysts say the hike will likely be temporary. They predict more relief at the pump in the coming months, with prices around $1.98 by Christmas time. Still ahead at 10, Bell is back with our full forecast, and it includes sun.
Plus, a Minnesota contestant on The Voice uses his newfound fame to share his story of overcoming adversity.
And as we head to break, another road work alert to tell you about. Southbound Snelling Avenue in St. Paul is closed between eastbound and westbound 94 ramps. It will stay that way until Monday morning while crews seal coat the bridge. Drivers can follow detour signs.
Would have hitchhiked to Birmingham if it hadn't been for love.
Well, it does not happen often on The Voice, but a Grand Rapids, Minnesota man wowed the judges so thoroughly that all 4 of them turned their chairs. The man who had them all turning, Joe Bommersbach, also known as Blind Joe. He was born prematurely 33 years ago, and it cost him his sight. KARE 11's Lou Ragoose shares his inspiring story.
But somebody took the music out of Music City, and I think y'all should know.
Of all his audiences,
We feeling good? Everybody come on, let's make a little bit of noise in here.
this one, more than others, might connect with Joe Bommersbach's message.
My name is Blind Joe. Of course, that's not my given name.
A message that life's not always fair.
Maybe you've got stuff going on in your life, and there are times where you think, man, you know, this really sucks.
That you might have some things tougher than most people for reasons you can't control.
Believe me, man, I've been there, especially being blind. It's real easy to throw a pity party.
These kids are staying at the Itascan Center in Grand Rapids for crisis intervention. Some have emotional and behavior problems. Some need emergency shelter.
Many of them have come from situations that put them in a really tough spot to be able to succeed in life.
He said, since you can't see, you gotta work twice as hard.
Blind Joe started overcoming his circumstances as a baby, born 3 months premature.
They told my parents that I had a 98% chance that I was not going to survive.
He survived with 2 non-working eyes, but his blindness didn't stop him from learning the guitar. It didn't stop him from becoming Blind Joe, country musician.
I practiced. I worked hard, and I practiced, and I didn't let anybody stand in my way of what I knew that I could do.
Never would have hitchhiked to Birmingham if it hadn't been for love.
And Blind Joe's blindness didn't stop him from taking the stage at the blind auditions, performing on NBC's The Voice. A 4-chair turn for the blind man who grew up on a farm outside Fargo and now lives in Grand Rapids, the same town as these kids, so hungry for a role model.
Just gives them hope.
If I can help them in any way, or if I can be that person for them, you know, even if I only touch 1 or 2 kids with my message, you know, that's worth it for me.
Pity don't get you paid, and whining won't make you a winner.
It's a message that even when life isn't fair, you can accomplish big things if you work hard.
And that's what you guys need to do, man. There's absolutely nothing you can't do if you put your mind to it. There's nothing standing between you and success, and I'm living proof of that.
Good-hearted woman in love with
Living proof that life is as fair as you decide to make it.
My name is Blind Joe. You guys have been excellent today. Thank you so much. I hope you had fun.
In Grand Rapids, Lou Raguse.
Follow your dreams, guys, and be awesome at whatever it is that you want to do.
KARE 11 News.
I love you. Thank you.
Now, how can you not root for him?
I guess.
Joe's wife, Leanne, who you might have seen watching him perform, travels with him to his shows and helps him set up his equipment. The battle rounds on The Voice continue tomorrow night at 8 o'clock.
Wow, love his voice.
Oh, beautiful.
Tremendous.
And his spirit. Hey, Belle, we had just a little bit of a change up.
Yeah.
Just a little different.
Just a little bit. We're all just worried that all the leaves have fallen off all the trees. So when we go to look at them, wherever your area is that you love, gosh, the good news is we captured some of that yesterday, and a lot of you shared it with me on my Facebook page. Look at some of these pictures, and I have a slew of them, so I'd love for you to check it out and add your own. But look at some of these trees, finally really showing the color and everything else. Just gorgeous. So thanks for sharing, and once again, just go and look at my Facebook page because it's pretty remarkable. Now take a look at this picture. This came in from Bradley Ullman. He took this near Echo, and he said that this ditch is filled with corn cobs after the wind today, and a number of people commented on that post and said yes, a lot of the ditches in those areas where of course the corn was still standing are filled with corn cobs. And then I have to just finish with this. Colleen sent this in of her puppy. She didn't let me know what his name is, but she just said, hashtag too windy. Too windy today. And it was windy today. Oh my goodness. Winds, as I mentioned earlier, were anywhere between 40 to 55 miles per hour, and not just for an hour or two, for consecutive hours, 6, 7 hours in some locations. So that is why they had that high wind warning out that now has expired. It is only 48 here. It is 39 in Fargo, and is 43 International Falls. What a difference a day can make. This is how much colder it is right now here at 10 p.m. than it was last night. No question there. We did make it to 85 yesterday and broke an 85-year-old record. It is 48, but it feels like 42, so we have to talk wind chill even though we don't want to. The winds are sustained at 16 and they're gusting into the 30s. Here is your Tuesday. We'll start at about 42, 41, and then we'll top off, I should say, at about 59, but most of the day it'll be in the 50s. And with the breeze, you'll want to dress for the 50s, even though it looks like we'll top out briefly at 60 degrees. This is your wind forecast, the current wind speed, I should say, northwest at 29, and this is the forecast for the rest of the night and into tomorrow and into Wednesday, when it will become much lighter and a little bit more tolerable across the region. The cloud forecast also will break up. The clouds will break up overnight. We expect to see some sunshine throughout the day tomorrow after about 11 or noon, and then all day Wednesday we'll see that sunshine as well. And as we've been talking about, it is MEA weekend, so let's talk about that 7-day forecast so you can make your plans accordingly. Tomorrow morning, 41, 42 at the bus stop, 60 in the afternoon. Dress for the 50s tomorrow. A northwest breeze, sunny skies, a little bit more tolerable. Wednesday looks great. The winds will be very light. It'll be 62 degrees. That's above average. Our average now is 60. Now we move into Thursday and Friday. That's when the kids have off. It looks as though it's going to be 62 and 52 for highs. There's a chance of a few sprinkles on Thursday afternoon as a front comes through. That's why we dip on Friday. But then both Saturday and Sunday, it'll be our 7th sunny weekend in a row ever since Labor Day. Pretty darn nice. 54 and 59, so just a tad below average for this third weekend of October, but not bad at all. Looking pretty decent. Lots of sunshine in the next 7 days.
Fantastic. Thank you, Belle.
Okay.
Well, next in sports, the Vikings will face Kansas City Sunday, and the Chiefs will be without their star player.
And speaking of stars, the pride of North Minneapolis explains why he is Gopher bound. Sports is next.
KARE 11 Sports from the Mayo Clinic Sports Medicine Sports Desk.
Well, it looks like the Vikings have dodged a major bullet come Sunday. Jamal Charles, arguably the best running back in the NFL, is out. Bad news confirmed officially today for the Chiefs. Jamal Charles with the torn ACL out for the season. They're in trouble. Niall Davis will do his best to fill the shoes of Charles, but Kansas City is going nowhere fast, having lost 4 in a row, and now Charles out?
Our focus is on us and what we do and how we need to win and how we need to play and how we need to get better, how we need to perform in the crucial situations of the game.
Gone are the days of the Gopher football team not being able to get in-state talent to stay home. In the 2016 class, 7 of the state's top 10 players have picked Minnesota, including Minneapolis North's Tyler Johnson, who just made his decision on Sunday. Ryan Shaver has that story.
If you're wondering why Tyler Johnson's a big deal, just take a look for yourself. Easily one of the state's best overall athletes, second-ranked recruit in Minnesota, and the senior is excited to represent North Minneapolis at the next level.
It means a whole lot because not many young African Americans can make it out and go Division I, so I feel like that represents me a lot in my community.
It's a community that's seen just a handful of athletes go Division I in the last decade. In fact, just a few years ago, North almost closed its doors for good. That's why Johnson's journey to the Gophers is bigger than just him.
That was a dream school, just growing up, always being a Gopher fan, you know. And then I was always at their camps as a child, you know, going to it. So I just like the school spirit, and like I said, it's a dream school.
Johnson's dream come true is the product of hard work. Hours after school, working to become the player he is today. And though chances are he won't play quarterback in college, that hard work has him ready for whatever challenge Coach Kill sends his way.
They recruited me as just an athlete all around, you know, so they're expecting big things out of me, you know, putting me anywhere and just expecting me to go make a big play. Coach wants me at wide receiver, I'll go play wide receiver. He wants me at safety, I'll play safety. It doesn't matter.
In Minneapolis, Ryan Shaver, KARE 11 Sports.
Well, you play hard all season long, and for the Lynx, part of that reward is getting home court advantage in the championship series with Indiana. And so Wednesday night, Lynx will host the decisive Game 5 right here at Target Center.
If I was to say, where do I want to finish my season, it would be at the Target Center. So that's going to be a great opportunity for us and our fans to really be who we've been all season. That's the beauty of it. We don't have to be anything more than who we are.
By the way, Timberwolves lose a preseason game tonight in Toronto, 112-107. Finally, San Diego Padres reportedly interviewing former Twin skipper Ron Gardenhire for their managerial post. Yes, stay tuned. Gardy could be heading to Southern California. By the way, 19 home runs hit today in postseason baseball. That is a major league record as the Mets, Cubs, and Royals all are victorious. That's sports. KARE 11 News back after this.
Before we go, we want to say big congratulations to 2 of our colleagues who collected 2 prestigious journalism awards tonight. Boyd Huppert and photojournalist Jonathan Millot won a National Edward R. Murrow Award for the story you might remember about a broken-hearted farmer who donated his $4 million farm to 4-H. Boyd also won a 2nd Murrow for a compilation of his writing. Both Boyd and Jonathan are in New York tonight accepting their hardware. So proud to have them on the team. Well done, well deserved, and they both look great in their tuxes.
They certainly do.
Have a great night, everybody.